What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is Ready to Love Season 6, Episode 7. Let me be honest with you. This is my least favorite episode every season. I don't understand this whole X thing. Like, I don't see the purpose in it. I don't like it. I think it's just simply to create drama and mess, to create a moment. And then next week, the guys get to introduce their ladies to their friends, which I think is more authentic, because I'm more likely to introduce somebody I'm dating to a friend to get their feel on it than an ex. I honestly could give a damn what my ex thinks, and I'm cool with most of my exes. But let's be clear, I don't care what opinion they have about anybody I'm dating. Just like I'm sure they don't care about my opinion about who they dating. It ain't that kind of party. So I don't understand that whole thought process, but it is what it is. Now, before we do that, let's deal with the housekeeping. We left off 2 weeks ago with this cliffhanger of Dakia and Eric. Now, I have heard both sides of the story. I have read, text messages, leaked text messages. Shout out to Kamisha Reviews for breaking that story wide open. But here's what it sounds like. So first of all, let me start at the beginning and work our way back. Y'all was hanging out outside of filming, which y'all are not supposed to be doing. Now, granted, y'all are grown-ass people and y'all can do whatever the hell y'all want to do. But did they not, what's my girl from last season? Oh, I can see her face, but I can never remember her name. Aisha, there it is. Didn't Aisha tell y'all about all that hanging out when y'all ain't supposed to be hanging out? Okay, there's a reason why they ask y'all not to do things when the cameras are not around, okay? There's a reason why they ask y'all not to do it, but y'all do it anyway. So, a group of them were hanging out on the weekend, and they were taking pictures. And this is what I gathered. Eric and the kid were taking pictures, and he was standing behind her, like, with his arms around her waist. And she made a comment about, oh, this like a prom picture. And he was like, oh, no, this ain't no prom picture. And so he raised his arms off from around her waist to her breast area, I guess, in a way to be more seductive. Now, here's the issue. It made Dakia uncomfortable. Now, she says that she told him to stop or told him to move his hands, and he kind of played it off like it was a joke. From the text messages, or from the accounts that I heard, she attempted to try to get him to come back and talk to her that day so they could resolve it, so she could tell him how she felt. And he was like, he was almost home. And she was like, well, I wanted to talk. And he was like, we don't have nothing to talk about. So it sounds like even before that exchange, something had already elevated. For him to say we don't have nothing to talk about, it sounded like it was already something that happened. So I'm not taking sides in this. If a woman says that she is uncomfortable, then she is uncomfortable. You don't have a right to put your hands on her in a way that makes her uncomfortable. And if she expresses that to you, then your only response is, my apologies. I didn't mean to take no liberties. I'm sure that they have been flirting. We know that they, have been flirting, and they were each other's number one at one point. And maybe he felt like they were in a place where he could touch her on her breast, or he could touch her in a way that was, more provocative than what she was comfortable with. But once she expressed that, then that should be that. Beyond that, I don't have an opinion. I don't. Eric did talk to Tommy, and he self-eliminated. He said he ain't ready to love. He needs to do some growing. He said he didn't mean to hurt her, and that was never his intention. Now, I think that's what I think that was the lines the producers gave him. I don't necessarily feel like he's not ready to love and he need to go do some self-examination. You made a play and she wasn't ready for you to make that play. Like, unfortunately, those are the games that we play when we're getting to know somebody, and you don't know how far to push the boundaries, or how deep you can flirt, or what the touching. You know what I mean? You touched her. You thought y'all were at a space where that was cool and she wasn't going to have a problem with it. She had a problem with it. And it sounds like things escalated from that point. But neither here nor there. Eric is no longer a part of the process, and I hope that they can talk in a controlled environment, and he can sincerely apologize to her, and they can. I ain't saying move on like as far as friends, but just at least close it out. Now, let's get to these dates. So the first date we have Joy with her ex. His name is Sean. We see Clifton and we see Laverne. Let me be honest with you. Both of their asses got on my nerves on this date. Okay, Laverne showed up being Laverne. We're gonna get to Laverne later. He showed up being Laverne, making these little comments, talking about talking to Sean. You want to pick me, right? I'm the one. Don't worry about Clifton. Don't worry about Clifton. I'm the one. Clifton shows up with a chip on his shoulder, talking to the ex, like, so what's this situation? Like, how often do y'all talk? I mean, do y'all talk on holidays? Y'all talk on birthdays? Y'all talk every week? What's up? And Sean was like, bruh, I'm telling you now, that whole jealousy thing, it ain't gonna work with her. She don't do good with jealousy. And he was like, this ain't about jealousy. It's just about understanding. And he did explain that some of it comes from a place of his past relationships, that he's been through some stuff. And Sean was like, well, you need to let that go. Like, maybe sometimes, he said that as black men, we need to be okay with therapy. Like, if you bring in some baggage and that's a problem for you, then you need to, and Clifton told him, oh, I do. Oh, I go to therapy. I'm still in therapy. He said, and I understand that. He was like, but there's just some things that, I'm that shoulder to cry on becomes something to sit on. And I was like, well, that was a bit crass, but I guess your point is valid. But Laverne just came off insincere, the joking, the I'ma say whatever I think you want to hear, never giving a solid answer. My thing with Clifton is you may not have liked all of his answers, but his answers were solid and he was honest. Again, you don't have to like what he's saying, but you got to respect the honesty in which he's saying it. But part of me was with Clifton, because again, he wasn't with the whole boyfriend thing, and I'm with him. I ain't with the whole boyfriend thing either, because I don't see no purpose in it. I just think it's stupid. Now, the other thing I can appreciate about Mr. Clifton is that Clifton walked in both, because he went on another date. He walked in both dates with a drink already in his hand. Like, he was like, if I'm about to deal with this bullshit, I need me a drink. He stopped at the bar on his way to the table. And I ain't mad at him about it. I am not mad at him about it. But neither here nor there. So that was the first date. So then we have Carmen. Her ex-boyfriend's name is Marcus. We have Donovan and we have Paul. Now, Paul didn't know that he was showing up for a double date with Donovan, nor did he know he was going to meet the ex-boyfriend. Donovan, I don't think knew either, but Donovan seemed to be a little more smooth with adapting to the situation, right? One of the things that her ex was saying was, can you handle, Carmen is around a lot of athletes. Carmen is around people in the industry. She works nights. She has long hours. She's a boss. Are these things, like, basically he was like, Carmen is the type of woman, her job and who she is as a woman could be emasculating. Are you strong enough to be able to handle this being with an alpha woman? Like, are you strong enough for that? And Paul said the right things. Paul was like, well, I've been in those rooms before, and that doesn't intimidate me. I've been in those spaces before. But Donovan, I feel like, hit it out the box as far as his answers were concerned. He was very much like, listen, I'm here to support her. That doesn't bother me. I'm secure in whatever it is that we build it. I'm secure in that. If she got to work late or she have to work around a bunch of athletes, I'm okay with that. I'm not worried about what where my place is, because my place is secure. I said, I know that's right, Donovan. Now, Marcus said that he was leaning towards Donovan over Paul, and Sean, Joy's ex, was leaning towards Clifton over Laverne, because again, I don't think he was necessarily crazy about Clifton, but he respected the fact that Clifton was in therapy and wasn't afraid to say that he was in therapy, and that Clifton was real about his answers. Again, didn't have to like him, but he was real about it. So there's that. So then we have Ace. Her ex, her ex name is Tony. No, her ex is Devon. Tori and Laverne were there. Now remember, I always thought that Laverne was her number one. I don't know where the hell Donovan came from, but okay, Donovan, you working it, boo. And again, I'm sorry. Shoot, y'all. I'm getting it all mixed up now. I'm sorry. Laverne and Tori were on a date with Ace. Her ex is Devon. Okay, we got it right. Um, Tori's an ass. Tori was being an ass. I think Tori's checked out of this process. After that situation that went down with Sabrina, I think he's just over it. He's not feeling it. And he was just kind of like, he was just there. And even with Tori not even trying, even with Tori just being there, he was still more likable than Laverne. He starts talking about how being around Ace makes his nature rise, and he has to adjust his pants, and she gets him aroused, and ain't nobody trying to hear that. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. But anyway, then we have Sabrina. Her ex is Milton. She went out on a date with Demetrius and with Tori. And again, Tori had just checked out of the process. He wasn't really given. He had an attitude, and Sabrina sort of had an attitude because Sabrina said that she had heard about that little kiss with Precious, and she felt like the only reason why Tori kissed Precious was to try to get back at her for kissing Demetrius. And let me be honest, I don't think that was the case, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because you know why? The difference was you kissed Demetrius in front of Tori. Tori kissing Precious on a date that ain't nobody gonna see till the show runs. That's not getting back at you. And Precious, why you running around telling the business? And we're gonna get back to Miss Precious, because Miss Precious, you was dropping bombs all over this episode, but we'll get back to that. Then we have Christina. She went out with Paul and Demetrius. Now again, her ex-boyfriend DJ. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think DJ was the best representation of who you are, Miss Tina. And if he was, then you got bigger problems and you might not be ready to love. Because DJ starts talking about how she got anger problems and she has trust issues and she broke his phone and she did this. Like, he was straight up bashing her. He did it with a smile. But he was bashing her. And she was like, if you're going to tell the story, tell the whole story. You can't tell part of the story. You can't give bits and pieces of the story because, yeah, I might have been smashing phones and stuff, but you was creeping. And I was catching you. But they sound like they still got this back and forth thing. I don't know. I need to find out when the last time y'all slept together because it sounded a little suspect from where I sit. Anyway, child. So, then we have Clifton went out on a date with Kaya, with her ex-boyfriend Terrence. Yeah. And again, it was pretty much the same. Clifton still had that little attitude, a little chip on his shoulder, walked in with his drink like he was over it. He didn't really want to be here. He didn't really want to participate with the whole situation. And I think, who showed up with them? Was it Donovan that showed up with them? So, child, again, the dates don't do it for me. So they get back to the room and, they're trying to figure out, who, who's on the top and who's on the bottom. And Laverne's name keeps coming up. They don't have a connection with Laverne. And, Tori's name came up. They feel like Tori sort of checked out of the process. But those were the two main names that came up. So I figured that it was going to be Laverne and Tori in the bottom. And so they did. So Sabrina went to go talk to Laverne, and Tori went to talk to, I want to say it might have been Zakaya, maybe, but it was somebody that hadn't had any interaction with him. And she told Tori, basically the ladies feel like maybe you've checked out, you maybe not being open to the process as like you were, but that you're not, we don't think you're ready to be sent home. Now, Laverne walked in there with a chip on his shoulder because Laverne said that somebody already tipped him to what's going on. That somebody told him that last week the ladies, it was a group of the women that had got together to try to vote him out. They were trying to conspire to vote him out. So he already knew what it was. And he, when Sabrina showed up, and from the minute she got there, he was just nasty. He was rude. He was talking to her crazy, cutting her off, wouldn't let her talk, wouldn't let her do her little spiel. And he finally let it out that Precious was the one that told him, well, I already know what this is. Y'all was trying to vote me out last week. You and Joy, and I think he said maybe Carmen had got together to try to get rid of him. And Sabrina was like, bruh, like, nobody was trying to get rid of you. Like, you're not even on my radar. Like, you're not anybody that I'm interested in. So why would I be conspiring against you? It's not that serious. And what I want to know is, Precious, why are you in this? Because I know Precious was the one that had to tell Sabrina about the kids, because it won't but two people there. Well, production. Now, production maybe got in it to get messy. But it wasn't nobody there but Tori and Precious. So how Sabrina found out about the damn kiss? Now, Precious is telling Laverne, oh, they conspiring against you. They trying to get you put off. They trying to get you kicked off. See, Precious, I put this one on you, girl. I put this on Precious. But neither here nor there, Laverne got kicked off. He is not ready to love. And I just have a problem with these men not being able to take this rejection. Listen, you know what you signed up for. You know how the show goes. This is not season 1, season 2. Hell, it's not even season 3. You know that when you're in the bottom, one of y'all is going home, one of y'all are getting a correction. And you know that you got to let people say their piece, and you got to let them get their little tagline, and you are not ready to love. That is what the show is about. That is what you signed up for. You have watched the show before, and this is how I know, Laverne, because you said the minute you walked in and you saw the ex-boyfriend, you knew, oh, this is the ex-boyfriend episode. This is that. So you watched the show, sir. Laverne's an ass, and I've said that going back to when they were at the beach house, well, the lake house. When he act like he was too good to talk to people and he was waiting for people to come up and talk to him. I said it then and I'll keep saying it. Laverne is an ass. Anyway, next week, the guys are in charge and it's time for them to meet the friends. So we'll see how that goes. Talk to y'all later. Peace.